My journey into recruitment is quite an interesting one. So recruitment is a second career for me. I spent 10 years in banking and the financial markets as a financial advisor, as a business development manager, all relationship driven stuff. I love people, I always have. When I first came over to the UK back in 2005, I had such a bad experience with a recruiter that I was just gobsmacked. I was absolutely beside myself that somebody could treat you so transactionally, especially when it was relating to your career, to your world, to your day to day, to what put food on your table. And a few of my friends, all lawyers, by the way, had said to me, "Why don't you, because I'd said when I moved over to the UK that I wanted to have a career change." Reason being is that I thought a lot of the banking people were cowboys, essentially gambling with people's futures. And I wanted to do something more altruistic. And I really believed in some kind of naive but passionate way that recruitment would help to encourage people to be more passionate about what they're doing and enjoy work, because let's face it, we do it day to day. And the people that you spend time with, the content of the work, there's always a way to find something that you enjoy about it. And so I figured, having gotten to London and seen people sleepwalking through life, that it would be something that I could do that was altruistic and constructive. And so I've spent the last 16 years in recruitment. I started at Hayes. I spent 4 years. I think a lot of people start in finance recruitment. So I did part qualified accountant. I then moved on to qualified. I built a team from new business rather than doing account management, which I really enjoyed, and lended itself to the to the work that I'd done previously. I love new relationships. I love getting to know people. I love swapping stories. I love hearing about people's journeys and what they enjoy, what they're really passionate about, and helping to guide them on that journey. My journey went from Hayes to then I think Hydrogen might be my 8th or 9th recruitment firm. I've worked across pretty much every discipline apart from sales and marketing and HR. There's been a common thread of transformation throughout that, and I think where that comes from is that I'm a big fan of improving things and making things better. So I like to try and cut as much of the periphery out and just focus on the good stuff, which is what people are involved in the people business for, is to spend time with people. I was approached a couple of years ago. I think Pete approached me about 4 or 5 times to come over to Hydrogen, and he wanted me to set up a practice centered around the transformation of legal services. I'd done a little bit of work with the legal industry at the time. I think it was about 2015 when I first was exposed to the legal industry. I found it quite slow back then. And so I had some concerns, but he was pretty persistent and he was pretty insistent that Hydrogen was a good place. And I'd really enjoyed working with him. So I said, okay, well, let me do some due diligence and I'll come back to you. I've been at Hydrogen now for 2 years. It is definitely what I've been looking for at least the last 10 years. The people are passionate, they're ethically, the values are right, the way that they do business is right, the way that they approach their staff and engage their staff on how to improve things and make things better. I've never seen anything like it across any of the 8 or 9 recruitment firms that I've worked with. I love the transparency. I think that was lacking in a lot of places that I worked. You kind of felt that there was this cloak and dagger business with Hydrogen. I love that it's consistent, it's transparent, and they're constantly asking what we think and what we'd like to do to contribute to that and the direction that we want to take the business, which for me, makes me feel valued and part of the organization. So I love it. It's the first time I've stayed anywhere more than 2 years in about 10 years, so that speaks volumes as far as I'm concerned. And I'm loving it. I'm the market space that I'm working in is a growth market. It's just as I was saying before, it's embryonic. It's got a good 10-15 year growth, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm loving it. if I think about it, one of the most memorable moments for me was being a month into my journey at Hydrogen and being told that we were going to be able to own our own time. So I've always struggled with presenteeism and people having to be present and just, there as a measure of someone's productivity. So that was always one of the things that I didn't particularly like about the industry. But then in the June after I started in 2019, rolled out Own Your Own Time, I was like, oh my goodness, we're being treated like adults. This is amazing, because I have always been a big believer that you should be able to own your own time. So I think people have different sort of patterns of um, what works for them. And like, I get up early in the morning, I'll crack on and do a couple of hours work, which works for the APAC market. And then I might, take my dog for a walk or put some washing on or do whatever I need to. Before, when we were back in the office, I'd take my dog for a walk. I'd come into the office a little bit later and I would feel, no weight on my shoulders, no anxiety about having to be somewhere and do something because you had to be. I think it creates a very liberating environment where you are empowered and accountable for what you want to achieve. And I think in a market that's very much driven by your own performance as well, it's a self-perpetuating and self-motivating principle to live by, and I think it's wonderful. I think more businesses should adopt this.